Good morning, guys. It's Vince. About 5:30 here in the morning, and we are printing some custom graphics for a client. Now, this sheet is quite large. It's actually much larger than many of you have seen us print previously. It's a 25-inch long sheet by 22 inches wide. And again, we only usually use sheets like this when we're doing actual laydowns for aircraft that are large. Again, everybody's niche is different, so it really depends again on what you're doing. But again, here we are doing some individual letters, and you can see the navy text coming out. We got our honey bunny nose art. That navy text will have a full bleed, and once again, just to clarify, a full bleed simply means that that text will look as if it's been painted on the model. And that just means that we'll be cutting inside the text's actual black line graphic. And how we do that is utilizing Vinyl Master's actual bleed cut feature. So again, looking at this and looking at a sheet this large, you would imagine that again, that the profit margin goes way up, and that's not always the case, and let me explain why. It really depends on what you're printing, and again, text is usually not too expensive to print when it's just generic like this. Again, we are selecting the font the client wants, but it really depends on what inks are being used, and this is about as basic as you're going to get. We're just dealing with simple black text. So again, you're looking at this whole sheet at about $100 and maybe $10, $15 total, depending upon what we ask for the additional graphics that we're producing outside of the client's order. And that's what you typically will find, is that you'll be cutting sheets that you're able to produce more graphics on than what your client's ordered. And that's where you actually really clean house, so to speak, as far as making even more ROI. And you can see we're getting even more of our nose art coming in. I'm trying to get that light out of here, but it's very difficult to do. There we go. Let's see, hard to get coming in. Her head's being printed right now. But again, that's actually the easiest way to calculate your ROI and see exactly where you're at, because no sheet we produce, just like many of you will find yourselves, will only have the client's order on it. You'll always be having extra graphics, and those extra graphics, you really can once again figure out what you want to produce and how much of that you want to release at what price, because most of the time the sheet and the raw materials are paid for very, very, very quickly. One of the questions we've been getting asked is, how lucrative is it when you factor in, aside from how much you're making per sheet, how lucrative is it you're factoring in all of your equipment? Now that's a very good question, because I don't believe in telling you gross. We see all over YouTube everybody claiming they make millions of dollars and all this other crap, and the bottom line is, if it's not net profit, it doesn't mean anything, okay? My better half is a corporate accountant for McDonald's, so again, understanding what really matters, which is what you're taking home and putting in your pocket, is no different than driving a sports car and not knowing the horsepower that's actually in the seat of your pants that you're going to feel. So realistically, what you're looking at is easily a sheet to 2 sheets of vinyl. Within that 22 to, I'd say 19 inches to 22 inches long, usually 2 sheets, or within 2 sheets, will cover the actual payment on the equipment if you are financing it. If you're lucky enough not to have to finance it, then you can calculate it in a little differently, because again, hopefully you guys can pay most of your equipment off without having to carry, you know, very high interest. But this is something that we've had questions on, and it's a very, very good question. And that is, again, how do you, subsidize installing the payments for the equipment into the profit margin? But if you figure out, like I said, 2 sheets roughly cover any payments you want to make on your equipment. We actually have multiple businesses, so we make some very large payments to our equipment, so we don't have to carry large interest. But again, it's up to you. If you're just starting out, once again, you don't have to start with very high dollar equipment to get great results. What you have to do is perfect the art of actually creating the graphics. And when I say that, we see the robot here is doing all the real work. The problem is that it's not a completed piece of artwork until it's properly cut. And then not only being properly cut, it also has to be prepped. And when I say prepped, you have to get it to the point to where all of your art is laminated, and once again, all of your laminations are done clearly. You don't want to have debris in them. You want a nice clean environment. Again, we can see our stars and bars coming in here. But overall, that's the biggest thing I would say that you guys really should focus on, is how to get perfect product. The closer you can get to perfect product, the better off you're going to be, and the more money you will make in much, much less time. And again, that doesn't mean you have to spend, you know, $5,000 on a printer and then, you know, another $5,000, $6,000 on a cutter. We have many clients that are very successful using Cricuts, two of which actually do greeting cards and use vinyl for decorating greeting cards, which is another, it's an excellent idea. I mean, it's very easy to do. And when you factor in trying to do the artwork manually, it just doesn't make sense when the robot can get virtually perfect artwork in a fraction of the time. And again, if you look at those stars and bars right there, and what I'm talking about is that star with the circle in it, navy blue, and it's got that red stripe. If you were to pay a painter, for instance, to try to do that design, he would most likely be there for quite some time, far exceeding the price of anything done on vinyl, and he'll never get the effect you'll get with vinyl. Now, some will argue, well, that won't last as long as, you know, properly painted substrate. Well, that may be, but when we factor in all things considered, and you want a true effect in the sense that it's going to be as real as possible, as clean as possible, that's where, again, the graphic arts will never be replaced. And when we look at that, again, for whatever application you're doing it with, we plan on actually showing you some interesting ways to use vinyl on furniture. And it's a very, very lucrative way to really extrapolate your profits. That'll be in an upcoming video. But I wanted to show you guys a larger sheet print because I feel that you can see hard to get. She's scantily clad, as you can see. And that is off a real aircraft. So again, remastering, it's all about that art. If we can get the remastery right, once again, take your time with your pictures, make sure everything is set, make sure the clarity is set. If I come in there, you can see, there you go. But it's really just a question of coming up with newer ideas. And again, I want to show you something else. Let's go over our inks. And you can see they don't move much. And when I tell you guys that these cartridges are huge, that tells you how huge they are. I think on this print right here, which once again is a massive print for us as far as the width, you're only looking at about 80 cents of ink. So again, huge, huge potential for profit, even factoring in the cost of the vinyl and the 3M 8518 glossy overlaminate. Again, you can use whatever substrate you'd like to laminate with as far as a general lamination product, but we try to virtually everything on the market from Oracal and all the other brands, and 3M is without a doubt the most consistent. It's definitely the most clear we found, and again, you still have the built-in UV protection. You can see our honey bunnies are coming in now. That knows art. There she goes. So again, real quick way for you guys, anyone out there looking for a home-based business, and I don't know many people that aren't, you want to diversify your income, work on your own terms in terms of time, get paid for the job and not your time so much, you got to look at this. Because again, like I said, profit margin wise, graphic arts is expanding daily, and now with the substrates that we carry, very easy to get professional results at home, provided that for your clients, and super easy to expand. Even if you're calculating in doing, you know, artwork over the course of, you know, the weekend, so to speak, maybe catching up and doing 1 or 2 jobs on the weekend, you should easily be able to do, if you were doing, let's say, 3 hours of printing, you would easily be able to do at least a couple hundred. I would say probably closer to $300 or $400 So it's just a question of how you extrapolate your time. And then when you factor that in, think about the cost of the equipment. Even on a $3,000, $4,000 investment, and I mean total investment, I'm not talking about one piece of equipment, but if you break it down over the cost of the equipment, let's say you have $3,000 for, you know, semi-decent equipment. When I say that, more like the medium grade. Going with a Graph Tech cutter, you know, maybe a CE6000 plus, and, you know, a decent printer, an Epson, you know, 13x19, or a Canon, excuse me, 13x19, you're still going to be well under $3,000. Even if you were making payments on that, it would be absolutely ridiculously cheap. I mean, you're probably looking, if your credit's decent, maybe, you know, 80 a month, something like that. So very easy to do. It's just a question of what investment you guys want to make. But again, with the substrates, panning down now, you can see the glossy. This is our glossy vinyl, and you can see that navy text, just how beautiful it came out. Stars and bars, they look fantastic. And there's our hard to get. And honey bunnies on the bottom, right over here. So again, guys, I hope this video is really making you think. Like I said, I look forward to doing a video on some furniture that we're going to add a huge amount of value to, just show you some potential ideas. But I want to keep you guys thinking. I really want to keep you guys thinking, and just keep checking out the artwork, because again, it's happening for real, in the sense that anybody can do this. If you have an inkjet printer, the robot does most of the work. Like I said, you're really only factoring in, she's finishing up right now, you're really going to only factor in your time in the sense of learning how to do proper lamination and working with your laminator. You can see just how symmetrical that ink is, and again, that's what you're paying for as well with a higher dollar professional printer. So again, guys, thank you for your support. We'll show you this when it's all done, and we'll continue from there. Take care. Okay, guys, here is the finished product. We did trim the edges off just to make it fit nicely on our glass table, but you can definitively see exactly what we've got here and how everything turned out. It looks fantastic. I think our clients will be really, really happy. Again, all of the text does have weed boxes on it, so you can see the weed boxes right there. Nose art, you can see how everything came out there. Hard to get, very rare. And it's just that simple, guys. It really is. It's just a question of what you want to come up with to really just, you know, blow up whatever market you're in, depending upon what niche you're looking at. She's going by and just carefully get this light out of your way. There you go. You can see it. There you go. Beautiful. That way. So again, I hope that this video has been helpful in terms of at least giving you more food for thought. My suggestion, and we got this question too, and I wanted to address it, is, you know, how do I look at getting involved in this at the lowest possible end to see if it's for you? Easiest way to do that, guys, contact us to purchase a sample pack. If you buy a sample pack of vinyl, you can test it out, see if this is for you, see if it makes sense. And if it does, then by all means, you could start with two, you know, smaller size graphics, just see how you do. And then as you continue to progress, if this makes sense for you, then move on with it. I mean, the beauty of this is you are selling physical products. A lot of things we see on YouTube for home-based businesses are, you know, whether it's an affiliate program or, you know, I mean, they're all over the place. You got all kinds of cryptocurrencies now and stuff like that. This is still a tangible physical business in the sense that you're selling tangible products, and it makes it so easy because these types of products have multitudes of applications. Matter of fact, we just sold some vinyl to a client that was doing different types of masonry jars for yard sales and stuff that they were doing, and I guess they were getting a lot of questions about doing more antique-ish type stuff, so we went actually and showed them the new water slide material we have, and they just went crazy. So again, we have a lot of different variables. If you contact us and you let us know what you're looking to get involved with, of course we can go through and show you what would probably be the best suit for whatever business model you're looking at achieving. Once again, the material here used is our glossy vinyl, and again, that's our OEM glossy vinyl. It does have the professional acrylic-based permanent adhesive, and this is laminated with 3M 8518 glossy over laminate. You can see that by the effect. There you go. Perfect. So again, guys, we thank you for your support. If you do have any questions or comments, please don't be afraid to contact us. You'll see CG Vinyl's information in the links below. You'll see it on your screen. We do, again, thank you for you taking the time to review the video. Take care.